Good boy. Yeah. Yeah. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Yay.
So it looks simple, doesn't it? Simple, straight out and straight back. And that's what it's about. It's about building it up and building that foundation with your little pup. Getting that little pup to have the confidence to bring that to you. Every time it goes out, it picks it up and brings it back because it wants to play the game. It wants the game to continue. This is an ideal little pup that at some stage already in his training, he wasn't that keen on retrieving from the start. So if you don't get that into him, you're going to have a problem. If you don't get this foundation into your dog, you're going to make it so much more difficult for yourself. It's not about sit, stay and wait. It's about chase. It's about gameplay. It's about having fun with you. If that dog has fun with you, that dog will want to play this game. Look at it, look. No food. We're not worried about dopamine rush. We're creating desire and drive. And the fun element is with the game of the retrieve and the chase. The chase is so important. Chris Upton has talked about this for years and years and years, before all the other gun dog trainers, before all the other dog trainers out there. He was putting up videos. He was one of the first to put up the videos and show you how to train a dog through 95% fun-based training and a small amount of discipline at the right time. It's knowing your timing, your control, when to put the pressure on the dog, when not to put the pressure on the dog. The dog is following. Look what the dog is doing. The dog is following. The dog wants to be with me for the right reasons, not because I forced it, because it's through gameplay. Teaching the dog to jump at this age, how dare you? It's only a puppy. It's learning. It's jumped in and out there, following the other dogs. The confidence is coming. The confidence is coming. Look, little dog, but guess what? It's gameplay. It's not boring the dog silly by doing it every day for hours on end because you've become obsessed with wanting to get your dog to a high level. It's knowing when to switch off and let that dog have fun. And this little dog is loving what it's doing, look. And I'm increasing it. I'm building the confidence in the little pup to get out of sight and retrieve it, look. It's not difficult. It's not hurting the dog. And the little dog is learning through association, gameplay. How much have I talked about gameplay instead of obedience and control from the start? Old time trainers, control from the start. Put the obedience into the dog, else you'll never get the dog to listen to you. It's a load of rubbish. Training has moved forward if you've educated yourselves. And when I say move forward, us competition people had to work out how to get dogs to be more driven, more style, more desire, and more determined to want to please. And that's what we did. We tapped into the gameplay, but we don't dismiss the discipline at the right time. Why would you want to discipline this little puppy, really?
So is it important that you make friends with your little puppy? Of course it is. Is it important you have touch with your little puppy? Yes, it is. But do I overdo it? No, I don't. I don't overdo it because I want the pup to want to be with me when he's with me and have so much fun. And if I stimulate the drive and desire in the pup at such a young age, I create a little monster, if I'm not careful, that he wants attention non-stop. And he has to learn to switch off. It's as simple as that. So when he goes in his kennel, and this is what Sean will appreciate, is the dog can switch off. Now if he's got a companion in the kennel, that's brilliant. But at the end of the day, look what he does. He just licks me. He just wants to be my friend. He's a lovely natured little pup. But I'm not rushing him. I don't need to rush him. So many people want to get into the training, and yet get your basics right. Get your foundation right. Build on that foundation of gameplay. Of every time the pup's with you, it's having fun. You're not nagging it. You're not telling it not to touch that. Get off this, get off that. Now the home environment is completely different, isn't it? If your dog's in the home environment and it's got all those distractions, you've not got what I've got. Simplicity. But that's why people put dogs in cages. That's why people put dogs on place boards and board the shit out of them. Right? And when I say put them on place boards, they put them set in the house. They put them on place and tell them they've got to spend 4 hours in that one position. You know, these are gun dogs. I don't want them having to do that. I don't want them having to switch off to that extent. But I give them a big enough area for them to have the security of their own little place. And this little dog knows that his kennel is switch off time because there's nothing else to do other than switch off and eat. Eat, shit, and switch off. And then I put a younger dog in with him to give him that comfort, to give him companionship as well, for play, to learn to play. So I put him in with an older dog and he'll pull the ears, and the older dog will put up with it for enough time and then suddenly go, oi, pack that in. And he'll learn. And he'll learn through association of the negative. Now, the negative can't be like, hey, pack it in, will you, please? This is getting boring. The dog goes, bang, fucking pack that in. This dog doesn't hate that dog then for the rest of its life. It learns that's not what the dog wants it to do to it. So we'll talk about punishment, and Chris Upton seems to be the only person who does talk about punishment. And this is the important thing. You're seeing so much on my Patreon site about American trainers. Why do I keep putting up American trainers? Why? Because they're the only people talking about dog training, talking about the different reasons we use punishment and the tools we use. In the UK, we haven't got people willing to openly talk. They're scared of losing business. They're scared of losing clients because they talk about or upsetting the kennel club because they want to pull away from the kennel club really, but they haven't got the balls to say it. And they're judges, and they're, you know, and they are looked upon as in the elite in our sport. Why aren't they talking to you? Why aren't they telling you how to build that trust, that bond with that dog? Do I need to be putting this dog on a place board at this point in its life? No, I don't. Can I condition the dog to get on the place board? Of course I can. I can condition the dog to get on the place board in a number of ways. I can use pressure and release with an e-collar. That's a different story again. I can make a dog go to a place. So I could say, I could use any word I like, but I could teach the dog to go out and sit on a spot, sit in a position, sit on something that I've made for the dog to realise that I'm sending you out to it by pressure and release. Do I really need to do that? No. But can I do it? Of course I can do it. Of course I can do it. The same as I can play tug with a dog. But do I want to play tug with a dog but the dog wants to retrieve? The dog wants to retrieve, look, but I'm just teasing the dog, but I'm not in the dog's mouth, and I'm not actually. So I've thrown it out there. I'm going to say nothing. What's the dog going to do? It's the dog's choice. It's only a puppy. Good lad. It's only a puppy. Where's the food? There was no food involved there, was there? There was no food because I've built it up with gameplay. And people say to me, Chris, my dog won't retrieve. Well, hang on. If you give it so many other things in life, and you're letting it hunt and get its head down, and its natural ability is coming out, and you're not got this into the dog, then you're going to be in trouble. You're going to struggle with your training. You've got to get this into the dog. Now we're moving over to this now because it doesn't roll, it doesn't run down the yard, and the dog's got the confidence to pick it up. Look, good lad, good lad. It's lovely. The dog is a little sweetie pie. And that 10 minutes play with me every morning matters to this dog, or every other day matters to this dog, because he says, it's far better than sitting in a kennel, Dad. But he knows kennel life. You can't say he doesn't know kennel. Good lad, good lad. Sean's going to be over the moon with this little chap. But I went through a few weeks where this dog didn't really want to retrieve. He wasn't a keen retriever. But I've had to realise that I've got to get out there with him and do more with him rather than less. Now, less is more, as I say to you, and it's important. The dog is learning on concrete, on grass. All it does is races out and races back. Good lad, yes, a clever boy. And the praise is all he needs. He's working for that praise. He's not working for food. Sod the dopamine. The dopamine rush is this, that he wants to pick it, and when he gets the confidence to want to pick it under all circumstances, the drive comes up and up and up, and then I start saying, right, now I can do something else with you. But until he stays out there and looks for that ball with drive and desire, then we're not going to carry on playing the game. He just picks him up and wants to eat it. A nut. He's not right in the head. But he's a puppy. He's a bloody puppy. So why would I rush? Why would I put too much pressure on him? But yes, I've got hands on, but it's not hands on all the time. At the moment, I want him to jump up. In a minute, if I'm standing up going, good boy, good boy, good boy, good boy, he's going to be jumping up at me and making my clothes a mess. At this point, I've got to cope with that because I want him to have the trust in me. It's as simple as that. This is real dog training, gun dog training. It's nothing new. It's nothing new, but guess what? I've studied so many other training methods. I add to my training. I've got an open mind. I'll listen to anybody and everything and go, don't agree with that, agree with that. I'll try that. Let's see if that works. Guess what? That's the way you evolve and move forward in your dog training. There is some lovely, lovely science-based training that I use in my training, but I've changed it slightly to suit my way of training. Because I've had success, and they say, don't you, if you get success, stick with it. Why change a method if you've had success? But are we trying to get better, or are we trying to get more compassionate with the dogs? I think that the world's gone mad, because the thing is, everyone thinks that everything can be done with love and affection, and anybody who uses any form of discipline or restraint is cruel with their dog. It's a load of rubbish. But I don't punish puppies. I don't bore the shit out of puppies. It's as simple as that. Their attention span is not that good. So let's just say, squirrel skin. It's bigger now than the tennis ball. We've got to thank Jules for these, because before I used to have to use a frozen squirrel from the fridge, or the ones I didn't prep them right, and the fur used to fall out. But these last so much longer. They're fantastic for the dogs. Look at the tail, look what the tail's doing. And they say we don't want dogs chasing squirrels, and Chris is taking the dog to chase the squirrel. He's teaching it to chase the squirrel because the squirrel is what they like to chase. And then everybody says, I can't stop my dog chasing squirrels. Well, I can, because I can show you how to do it. But would I be doing it to a puppy at this stage? No, I wouldn't, because I'm putting in that reinforcement that I want the dog, good lad. And notice how I come up here and he puts his front paws onto the place board at the side of me. Do I correct him because I want him here? No. I want him to have the confidence to come up to me like that and lift his head. His head's got to come up. There he goes. You can't see everything he's doing, but you can see where he's producing it. Am I using a whistle? Am I calling him and am I nagging him? No. Have I stimulated him to such an extent that the drive of the hunting is there, or he wants to be away from me? No, I haven't. And this is what it's about, everyone. It's about having fun with your dog at the right time. Have I worried about the tennis ball? No, I'll go and pick it in a minute. But I know that when he starts to show me that he wants to hunt under the car for the tennis ball, or go into that corner for the tennis ball, then guess what? That tells me so much that the dog's drive has come up to another level when he'll start to push through obstacles to look for the tennis ball. As simple as that. Look at him, he's a baby, but I've got to pick him up. I've got to hold him up there, look. Got to get used to it, because I'm going to be picking him up in his life. But at the end of the day, down he goes. Do I need to mollycoddle him and touch him all the time? No, but at this stage, what I'm doing is I'm building that desire for him to want to be with me here. Not because I'm holding on to him or teaching him to switch off in my arms. I can show you video after video about this rubbish, right? The great Martin Deely, they said. The great Martin Deely. I'm going to put that video up of Martin Deely's gun dog training to show you people that people are being sold down the river about dog training. They're being sold down the river an ideology that I want to sell this. My method of training is what I've picked up over the years from thousands and thousands of hours of watching videos, experimenting with different behaviors, trying dogs at a young age to train them, trying to train them at an older age, and working out what is best for these dogs. Because that's what this is about, is what is best for these dogs. That's what I'm saying. I want these dogs to want to play the game. So out he goes.
Did I need to say fetch it? Did I need to say get out? Not really. He's following.
Good lad. And the praise is there. And that praise ends at that point. But there's nothing wrong with touch. Look what he's doing. He's lifting his head. He's looking for this. I put it away now. I put it away. I go and get the ball. There he goes. Throw the ball out. Watch what happens. Where he goes. Good lad. Comes up here. Puts his front pads on the placeboard. There's a reason for that, because I'm going to teach him to get on the placeboard in a minute. I'm going to teach him that this is a happy place, but it can also be a naughty step if you want to misbehave later on in life. So I'm going to show him that this can do two things. It can control you, but it can also be a happy place. That dog now is driven to want to retrieve. It was so important I put that into the dog before I went anywhere else. Good lad, good lad. If I go anywhere else with the training, I haven't got the foundation to build on. As simple as that. This is simple dog training. This is in a way that the layperson can understand it and get it right. I watched Ivan's podcast podcast with Larry Crone the other day, and if you want in-depth psychology, listen to Ivan. If you want a simple format to follow that works, but perhaps Larry doesn't understand why it works because he's not studied the science, then don't worry about the science. If it works, use it. Simple as that. And I would say that Larry's method of training is far more enjoyable for the average person who's got a little dog, who wants to get their dog to a good standard, get the dog listening to him, have a good relationship, and I take me out off to Larry for that. But if you read the comments that Larry is a snake oil salesman and he's been conning people with the methods that he uses and the technology and the things he says, you could argue the fact that they may be right to a certain extent if you study the science. But the science is only science, it's theory until proven. And I want the scientists, all these dog trainers, these so-called experts out there, to show me their work. Larry is showing you his work, and Larry is getting results the way he does it. He can't say why it works, and you could question a lot of things in life and say, but I don't know how it works, but it works. It just works. It's nature. He taps into gameplay. He taps into exactly what most dog trainers do who know what they're talking about. They tap into gameplay. Now, does he overdo it? In my opinion, sometimes, what I've seen. But guess what? We wouldn't fall out of that, and I would never ever rubbish somebody for training the way they train if they get results. And people like Larry, by going public and putting it up, right? Is he giving away information that the top trainers don't want to give? People like Ivan, unless you're willing to pay $10,000. There you go. Puppy got onto the placeboard. Did you see that? The puppy got onto the placeboard without being told, because I'm teaching the dog to get up, not pushing it down all the time, right? Not saying, not giving it an e-collar all the time. I don't need to put e-collars on my dogs. I put e-collars on customers' dogs that go wrong, that I have to recondition. But if you don't take your time to understand why I do it and how I do it, I've used the method that Larry's shown with e-collar training, and I wouldn't have gone down e-collar training route after watching some of the protection sports people using it, because our dogs are not protection dogs, and we do not need that preciseness, regimental training, right? We want a relationship with these dogs, and we want them to work in the field for us when we ask them, when we go out with them. We can build gameplay, we can build scenarios of discipline through gameplay, but we can build it up in the way that suits the gun dog, not the protection sports dog. But guess what? You've got to watch everything to work out what's the best way. And if you know, it's the same as food. I use food when I need to, but if I was using food at the moment, this dog would be jumping up for the food, not for me. It's jumping up because it wants to be with me. It's exploring the yard now at the moment. Why? Because we've gone over the time. Look, he's on the placeboard. Look, he's on the placeboard. Good lad. I didn't tell him to get on the place board. Get off that. You're not eating that nut. I didn't tell him to get on the place board. He got on the place board because he's elevated himself and learning through association. And this is what you've got to do. You've got to spend that time with the dogs. Now, if I've got 15 dogs in the kennel, I can't spend that much time with them individually. But it doesn't matter, because 10-15 minutes a day of quality with that dog really matters. That's why I run the pack when I'm exercising them. And he was running with the pack in the field, but you know, the field's changed, so life's changed. But guess what? In that small area out the back there, and that's what my dog training is about, you don't need your own shooting estate. You just need basics. Get the basics into the dog, get the fun into the dog, get the dog to want to play the game instead of forcing the dog to play the game. Now, I can tell you so much about pressure and release. I'm going to put him away now because he's now hunting. He's hunting for anything he can get his hands on. Look at it. The concentration span's gone. So there you go. We'll finish this off over the next few days. But as you can see, I've got a happy puppy. I've got a puppy who wants to be up here. He doesn't panic, doesn't kick, doesn't go, put me down, I hate it. He learns that with me, it's fun. And that's what it's about, everyone. Having fun. Get out there and have fun with your dog. If you're not having fun with your dog, don't dog train. Simple as that. Find a different trainer.